Lesson 7-5, Multiplying Mixed Numbers by Whole Numbers. Your focus for this lesson is for you to solve a fraction number story, to multiply a non-unit fraction by a whole number, to multiply a mixed number by a whole number, and to solve number stories with mixed numbers. But first, let's start with our mental math and fluency. Name all the multiples of 2 up to 10. So I start with the number 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So a multiple of 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 is a multiple of 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 is a multiple of 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 is a multiple of 2. And 2 times 5 is 10. That's where we stop. We said between 2 and 10. Now from 5 up to 20. First number is 5. You could also do it by skip counting. Even though this says multiples, it is like skip counting because 5 times 1 is 5. We skip count another 5. That answer, 10, is 5 times 2, which is an addition of 5. So 15. And 20 is my last one because it says up to 20. And finally, start with 10. 10 is my first one. Then we go up by tens. 20, which is 2 times 10. 30, which is 3 times 10. 40, which is 4 times 10. And 50, which is 5 times 10. Last week, Tamika practiced the trumpet for 2/3 hour each day. What was the total number of hours she practiced? Well, one way to do this is to ask yourself, how can I get an answer? Well, we could add 2/3 7 times. 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3. And as you can see, I'm saying it much faster than I'm able to write it. So imagine you writing this. Now, since I'm already up to 5 and I know I got to go up to 7, I'm going to add those last two together and just come up with 4/3. My denominator stays the same, thirds, and I add the numerators, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14. So what was the total number of hours that she practiced? 14/3. Now some of you are really struggling with, how do you know that's 4 wholes and 2/3 so? Well, remember, every whole, if I decompose this number, would be 3/3. So 3/3 plus 3/3 equals 6/3 plus 3/3 equals 9/3 plus 3/3 equals 12/3. Okay, so that equals 12/3. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my 4. 12/3. How many thirds did I got left? If I use 12 of these, I have 2/3 left for my answer. That's one way we could get our answer. Another way we could get our answer is we could do 7 times 2/3. So what I would do is I would take 7 times the numerator, 7 times 2, which equals 14. And again, my denominator just stays the same. So right there it is, 14/3. Now we're going to make this problem slightly harder. This time it says, last week Tamika practiced the trumpet for 7 and 2/3 hour each day. If she keeps the same practice schedule after 5 weeks, will she have practiced more or less than a full day? So if every week she practices 14/3, or we said using a whole number, 4 and 2/3, in 5 weeks, what will she have practiced? So we either will need to add 14/3 5 times. And sorry, I'm kind of squeezing this in here. I didn't realize I was writing 4/3 quite as close as what I was. Let's see if I can write this one out here. So there's 4. And again, here's 5 because we got 5 weeks. My denominator, I'm going to put my answer down here, stays the same. I add the numerators. 14 and 14, that's 28. And again, 14 and 14 is 28. So far I have 56. Now I need to add 56 and 14, which gives me 70. Or I could do 4 and 2/3 times 5. Okay, remember 70/3 is basically saying how many wholes do I have? I can take 70 divided by 3. Well, I know 3 will go into 70 20 times, and that gives me 60. But I still have 10 left over. It'll go in there another 3 times, and I'll have 1/3 left over. So when I add all of these together, I have 23 1/3 for my answer. So in order to multiply by 5, I need to change this mixed number into a fraction. How can I do that easily? Well, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14/3 again. Now I leave my denominator the same, and I multiply the numerators. 5 times 14 is 70. So notice, either way I do it, this way by adding, or this way by multiplying, I am going to come up with the same answer. And it said, is that more or less than a full day? Well, 23 1/3 hours would be less than 24 hours, which is in a full day. Remember, if at any time you're doing problems like this and it's hard, you can always rewind this recording and you can go back and listen to this one to try to figure out your answer. Now you're going to open to Math Journal page 240 and 241. I'm going to walk through problem number 1 with you, and you're going to do 2 and 3 on page 240, and then you're going to do all of page 241 by yourself and then bring it up to me so that I can check it for you, because that is an assessment check-in that I need to do. So let's look at this first one. Remember, this one's going to help you do the one for the assessment check-in. It reads, each member of the flute section of the Briar Woods Elementary School band practiced for 2 3/5 hours last week. There are 5 flute players. What is the total number of hours they practice? So my number model with the unknown. Well, the first number they gave me was 2 3/5 hours. So I write that down, and so should you. Now, there are 5 flute players, so I'm going to multiply by 5. And my unknown says, what's the total number of hours? I'm going to make H my unknown because that's what they're asking me, is how many hours. It says, show 2 different ways. Well, 1, I could multiply. I could do 5 times 2 3/5. Which equals 5 times 13/5, which again equals 5 times 13. Denominator stays the same. What is 5 times 13? Well, it's 65/5, which equals 13. Because 65 divided by 5 goes into 6 once. Then I carry my 1 here for 15. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 13. You can divide it any way you want over here on the side. What's another way I could do that? Well, I could add 2 3/5 5 times. And I'm showing my work because I expect to see this on your page when you bring it up for the assessment check-in. I want to make sure that you followed my directions for number 1, and then I want to make sure that you actually took the time to figure it out. Again. So if I add them together, I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 10 right there. And then I got 3/5, 6/5, 9/5, 12/5, 15/5, and I know 15 divided by 5 is 3, so I'd add another 3 onto there for a total of 13. So how many hours is it? 13 hours. How many minutes is that in all? Well, I'd have to take 60 times 13. Whatever method you want to do. 3 times 0 is 0. And 3 times 6 is 18. I'm done with the ones place, so I'm going to eliminate it. So I got to put a 0 there. 1 times 0 is 0. And 1 times 6 is 6. So when I add those together, I come up with 0, 8, 7. 780 minutes. How many seconds is that? Well, now I got to take my minutes, 780, and I got to multiply that by 6. 60, I'm sorry, because there's 60 seconds in a minute. Zeros, since it's a 0 here on the end, I'm just going to put a 0 down and not go through all that multiplying. Now I go 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 8 is 48, carry the 4. And 7 times 6 is 42, plus 4 is 46. For an answer of 46,800. Please stop the recording now. Finish page 240 and 241 in your math journal, and then bring it up to me so I can check it off as the assessment check-in. Once I've checked for the assessment check for you, I want you to do math journal page 242. You can pause the recording now and check it up in the answer key when you're done, or if you need the problems read to you, you can continue listening. Math box 1 asks you to solve 2 multiplication problems. Use any method. Math box 2 says 2 packages to be mailed weigh 3 and 3/8 pounds and 4 and 2/8 pounds. What is the combined weight? Combined means you're adding it together. So remember, you're putting your number model here, what plus what, use the numbers up here, equals, since it's looking for the weight, your unknown should be the letter W, and then add those together and write your pounds. Remember, when you need to pause the recording at any time during the math boxes, you should hit the pause button. Draw the next figure in the pattern, and then describe in words the pattern. Number 4 asks you to use the line plot to answer the questions. What is the difference between the tallest, well, the tallest one's right here, and the shortest? Well, if you're looking at difference, difference means you're subtracting. And then finally, write the written answer for how you solved problem 1B. Pause the recording now, finish this page, and then go up and check it in the math journal. The final thing for this lesson is Math Masters, page 271. If you need it read to you, please continue to listen. If not, pause it, bring it up to me when you're done, and you will be done. Number 1 says solve. Michelle's grandmother sent her 5 small gifts for her 5th birthday. Each one weighed 1.5 pounds. How much did the gifts weigh in all? So you need your number model with your unknown, your answer in pounds, and then between what 2 whole numbers is this, and how many ounces did the gifts weigh? Again, math problem 2 for your Math Masters, page 271 says, Rochelle bought 4 pieces of ribbon to finish a project. Each piece was 1 5/12 yards long. What is the combined length of the ribbon she bought? So you need this number and 4 of it. Your answer in yards, between what 2 whole numbers is this? And then how many feet is this? Number 3 has you multiplying a whole number by a mixed number. Again, between what 2 whole numbers is this? And the same